Okay, let's be honest. For a lot of us, the word algebra probably brings back some not-so-great memories, right? But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if it's less about complicated math and more like a secret code for understanding the world? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify this thing together.
No, seriously, think about it. Every time you try to figure out if you've got enough time to get to an appointment or when you're splitting a dinner bill with friends, you're using the basic logic of algebra. You're solving for an unknown quantity. Algebra just gives that whole process a name and a set of rules to make it even more powerful.
And to do that, we've gotten our hands on something pretty cool, a teacher's edition of an Algebra 1 textbook. This is the playbook. This is our secret guide to go behind the scenes to really understand not just what we're supposed to do, but why we do it and how it all connects.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll uncover what algebra really is, its secret identity. Then we'll learn its basic words, kind of like the building blocks. After that, we'll get into the rules of the game, the grammar. From there, we'll explore functions. These are the real workhorses of algebra. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to make sense of the real world.
You know, the single biggest idea to really get is this. Algebra isn't just a type of math. It's a language.
Yep.
A universal system for describing patterns, figuring out relationships, and solving all kinds of puzzles. As soon as you start thinking of it that way, the whole thing becomes way less intimidating. I promise.
So if we're saying algebra is a language, well, it has to have words, right? So let's start with the most basic, fundamental pieces of its vocabulary.
First up, the variable. You've seen them everywhere. X, Y, A, B. All a variable is a placeholder. It's just a way to talk about a number that we don't know yet. If you think about it in language terms, a variable like X is basically just a pronoun, like it or they. It's standing in for a specific something, we just haven't figured out what that something is yet.
This slide, oh man, this slide builds perfectly on our language idea. So on the left, you've got an expression. It's just a phrase, like the red ball. It has meaning, sure, but it doesn't make a full statement. Now look at the right. You have an equation. That little equal sign, that's the verb. It turns the phrase into a full sentence. The red ball is big. An equation is a complete thought, a statement that can be true or false. Our job is usually to find the value of X that makes the whole sentence true.
Now, every language needs grammar, right? Otherwise, it's just chaos. Well, algebra is no different. These rules make sure we all read a problem the exact same way and get the same answer every single time. And this grammar has a name, the order of operations.
You probably learned this with a little acronym, maybe PEMDAS. First, you handle anything inside parentheses. Then you calculate exponents. Next, and this is so important, you do all the multiplication and division as they show up from left to right. See, that left to right part is where a lot of people get tripped up. Finally, you do all the addition and subtraction, again, just as you see them from left to right.
And here it is, an insider tip straight from the teacher's playbook. Don't think of PEMDAS as just a list. Think of it vertically, like in priority tiers. Parentheses and exponents are at the top, high priority. Then, multiplication and division are on the exact same level of medium priority. And addition and subtraction are also partners on the same level down at the bottom. So, here's the crucial point. You don't always multiply before you divide. You just do whichever one comes first as you read from left to right. This simple little mental shift, it prevents so many mistakes.
Okay, so we've got our words and we've got our grammar. Now we can start building some really powerful sentences that actually describe the world. And that's where functions come in. You can think of functions as the engines of algebra. They're how we describe a predictable relationship between two or more things.
So what is a function? It's just a rule. That's it. You give it an input, it follows the rule, and it gives you one single predictable output. My favorite analogy is a vending machine. You input a code, say B4, and you get exactly one output, a specific bag of chips. You're never going to get two different snacks for the same code. That's a function. For every one input, there is exactly one output.
And here's what that looks like in practice. Our input is X, our rule is just add 5 to X to get Y, and our output is Y. So if you put in a 1, you'll always get a 6. If you put in a 3, you'll always get an 8. The relationship is consistent, it's predictable, and this simple idea is how we can model everything from your cell phone bill to the path of a rocket ship.
So why? Why learn this whole new language? Why bother mastering variables and equations and functions? Because they give us this incredibly powerful toolkit for making sense of the world and for solving real, actual problems.
So the textbook here lists a bunch of universal problem-solving strategies. You can make a table to get organized, look for a pattern, or even just guess and check. What algebra does is give us the precise language to make these strategies work. It lets us turn a vague pattern into a specific function, or a messy word problem into a clean equation we can actually solve.
And that brings us to the ultimate goal, which our source just sums up perfectly. It says, the process of taking givens and translating them into mathematical statements by way of symbols is called modeling. That's it. That is the whole game right there. Translating reality into the language of math so we can understand it, make predictions, and find solutions.
And of course, we've got to give credit where it's due. All of these core ideas we've been talking about are adapted from the fantastic open-source Flexbook series, which was created by the nonprofit CK12 Foundation.
So, you see, algebra isn't just a subject in school. It's really a way of thinking. It trains our brains to find structure and logic, even in chaos. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about your daily routine, or your budget, or even your personal goals. What problem in your own life could be made just a little bit clearer, or maybe even solved, just by looking for a pattern?